Good evening, everybody. I am going to be making a cheesy potato casserole or beef and potatoes, however you want to call it. I am going to be using about a pound of hamburger meat. You can use more, of course. About 4 potatoes. I'm going to use sharp cheddar and mozzarella. I'm going to be using some beef broth. I'm going to be seasoning my meat with my seasoning blend, salt, pepper, my crazy mixed up salts I use in everything, some Italian seasoning, and some garlic powder. So I'm going to get the meat started, and I will show you what the next steps are. Just to go over real quick, if you don't use a seasoning blend, if you have a fresh onion, I would say probably half an onion would do for the pound of meat. Again, if you're doing a larger batch, I'm only, it's just me and my son tonight, so I'm not making a whole bunch. So if you're making a bigger batch, of course, then you're going to need to use, probably a whole onion. But this is just, for a small batch. I'm going to be doing this size casserole dish. It's not the 9 by 13, but it's the one below that one. I can't remember the size of this one right this second, but it's going to be in this pan. So with the seasonings, I usually just sprinkle, salt over the top, pepper over the top, garlic over the top, crazy mixed up. Now the Italian seasoning, I probably say for this, I only used about a teaspoon. So I'm going to get this brown and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so we're going to get this put together now. So what we have is I slice these potatoes. You want to slice them relatively thin. I don't have one of those little slicer things, so mine are going to be a little bit uneven. But if you have one of those slicers, you can do it more uniform. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a lightly greased pan, and you're going to put your potatoes down. You're going to put a layer of potatoes. And again, if these were all the same thickness, I probably wouldn't layer them as much, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure, we get the bottom up covered up. So I'm going to get the pan, get all the potatoes on the bottom. I'm going to put my meat, and then I'm going to sprinkle cheese. What I did was I just mixed up a half a bag of the sharp and mozzarella. You can use whatever cheese you like. I just like the way these two melt together. So I'm going to get the potatoes down, the meat, and I'm going to show you the layers. Okay, so I just put the layers of the potatoes on the bottom on a greased pan. Then I put a thin layer of the meat that's got all the seasonings in it. And now I'm going to put a layer of the cheese. Now, there's not much meat. And again, this is more of a cheesy potato kind of thing to me. And the meat's kind of just an extra bonus. So that's if you don't have much hamburger meat, but you got potatoes and cheese, you can kind of like dress up the potatoes and, not just have just a little bit of flavor. So as you can see, I put a good layer of the cheese on the top. I'm going to do one more layer of potatoes. I'm going to finish up the meat, and I'm going to use the rest of my cheese. Okay, so I'm going to get that next layer on, and I'll show you what it looks like right before it goes in the oven. This is what the layer of potatoes looks like. Like I said, I kind of overlapped them so they would cover. This recipe for this size pan, again, it's the one right below the 9 by 13. Sorry, I can't remember. But 1 pound of hamburger meat, and this size pan is 4 whole medium-sized potatoes. It took every bit of the potatoes. Okay, I almost forgot. So once you get the potatoes and the meat, before you put that last layer of cheese on the top, you're going to take your beef gravy, your beef broth, and you're going to, I'm doing a cup, but I'm going to see, I may not need the whole cup, but I'm going to pour this on here and see if I need to add, if this is going to be. Okay, yep. So that took a cup of the beef broth to go ahead and make sure you get plenty of juice on here. I'm going to add now I'm going to finish up with my cheese, and I'll be right back. This is right before it goes in the oven. You're going to cover this with aluminum foil, and you're going to put it in your oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. After that, you're going to take the top off, and you're going to let it brown. You're going to let the cheese brown. So that'll be another, say, 5 minutes. All right, it's been 30 minutes. I just took the aluminum foil off so that the cheese on the top can get a little brown. So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to put this back in the oven for 5 minutes, and then we'll take it out. Okay, it was in the oven for 5 minutes to kind of just, without the top on it, just to kind of get it browned up. I'm going to let this cool for just a few minutes before I put it on my plate. I made me some fresh bread earlier. Well, some yeast rolls, homemade yeast rolls I'm going to eat with it. Look at all buttered up. So I will show you once I get this plated up. Just wanted to show you once it comes out of the oven how it looks. Again, I'm gonna wait about 5 minutes. You should always kind of let food rest about 5 minutes before you scoop it up. Okay, everybody, this is it plated up. Simple recipe. It's got meat, potatoes, and cheese, and some beef broth. So overall, again, another 3 ingredient with your seasonings. So here you go. And again, I just made me some yeast rolls, so I'm gonna have me one of those with that. You are gonna notice there's gonna be a lot of gravy on the bottom. Now this will kind of absorb a little bit more back into it, but it's supposed to have, if you don't want this much gravy, then use probably half a cup instead of a cup of the beef broth. But I like it to be juicy because that way it doesn't dry out after it sits for a little while. And I also like to just pour a little bit of gravy back over the top. So if y'all have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all.